The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Markets Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. We kick things off just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We got about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading, and you got markets mixed right now after the acceleration to higher prices yesterday. S&Ps, we'll call it flat, negative by 1 point. 67.51. NASDAQ 100 positive by 2. You get the Dow right now positive by 40 points. And you get the Russell positive by 4. So all markets pretty calm. How about 25,000? That's a nice round number in the NASDAQ 100. Quite an acceleration from 16,000 at the lows of April in this market. We have gold pushing higher yet again this morning. Gold up by another $42. You take a look at the 15-minute chart. We were just trading at $36.60 less than a week ago. You're talking about $164 to the upside to the highs of $38.24 overnight. You jump over to the dollar right now, DXY, backing off a bit. But as you can see, gold continued to extend above those highs. We're at $97.26 right now, not far off from where we were yesterday afternoon. So it's not all dollar weakness in terms of extending that gold run higher. It is gold making a run. Jump back to that gold contract, up by $43 right now, up 1.1%. You jump over to silver this morning, pushing higher, up by 1.2% to $44.75 this morning. We jump over and take a look at yields. You have the 10-year at about 4.13%. We're up by 2 ticks right now in the session. And let's jump around to some of the equities. So NVIDIA, pretty remarkable, the acceleration, right? NVIDIA, OpenAI, you talk about a run, driving this market higher. Man, it's just amazing the moves that this equity has. 25 billion shares outstanding. You drive higher by almost $10 yesterday. That's $250 billion in market cap. We jump over to the Analyze tab. We're talking about a company at $4.5 trillion now, folks. 4.43, okay? Almost to that level. I think we hit it yesterday, though, when we were up $2.50 higher. 4.5 trillion. Now, here's what's remarkable, this whole deal, okay? And jumping around to the news, this is a great one from the Journal. I'm going to post this one in the Tiger's Den, folks, okay? So this one was out last night. I was reading it early this morning. How NVIDIA is backstopping America's AI boom. Now, they had the $5 billion investment in Intel, of course. Yesterday, it's a $100 billion investment into OpenAI. Helped reset market expectations, as they say, about that startup's finances. There was a lot of discussion recently in terms of OpenAI, how they're going to pay for the obligations they have. Well, guess what? NVIDIA is going to invest $100 billion to help finance a historic data center build-out. I love this part. Okay, more people need to hear about this part. It has used its balance sheet clout to keep the AI boom humming through deals. The deals highlight an issue that some investors are calling circulatory. Circularity. Should be circulatory as well. It's a big circle of revenue, folks, right? The company takes steps to boost or shore up demand for its AI chips by supporting other companies that can then use those funds to buy NVIDIA chips. If you run this type of a business, and listen, NVIDIA AI, it is the future, okay? This is not a Ponzi scheme, but you better believe it's just one of the risks, okay? It is one of the risks here. How about this part? We're going to go through charts, folks. We're going to go through volume, but check out this chart. I mean, this aspect of it. And this is just analysis, okay? But this is part of the circularity or the circulatory nature of the investments, the revenue, and then the people using that investment and revenue to buy the chips are the people that are investing the money to begin with. For every $10 billion NVIDIA invests in OpenAI, the startup's going to spend $35 billion on NVIDIA chips. That's going to eat into the margins as your risk, okay, for cutting-edge chips, but ensures continued demand. Folks, For you business owners out there, for you traders out there, how about a $10 billion investment, and then I'll kick back $35 billion of an investment on your product, right? And as they put it, that announcement Monday added nearly $160 billion to NVIDIA's market cap. So you invest $100 billion, you add $160 billion. Now, that comes out, but also what comes out is this amazing piece from Bain. Now, who knows what the world's going to look like in 2030, folks, okay? And this is the piece on the actual site of Bain & Company itself, okay? Dated this morning, a 6-minute read. Even with AI-related savings, investors are still $800 billion short in annual revenue required to profitably fund the data centers of 2030. Okay, and then, of course, everyone's going to report on that, but that's what they're reporting on. And the basic gist is, hey, AI computing requirements, how about the energy of 200 gigawatts by 2030? Yeah, and there's going to be a revenue shortfall. Well, on the heels of a circularity arrangement where NVIDIA invests $100 billion in OpenAI, and OpenAI, in turn, buys hundreds of billions of dollars of their products. You know, we're talking 5 years out, though, okay? But what Bain's saying is that they're going to need $2 trillion in combined annual revenue. Their revenue is likely to fall $800 billion short of that number. It's been talked about with OpenAI. How about this one? OpenAI, they're losing billions of dollars. It expects to be cash flow positive by 2029. Boy, there's a lot to play out by then, right? Yeah, 200 gigawatts is what they're going to need. And OpenAI itself, maybe it was in the Bain piece, OpenAI itself, what they're going to need themselves in terms of revenue. All right, I'll pull out other pieces. But yeah, NVIDIA, nonetheless, we're going to give back a little bit today. Your market's mixed right now. You have NVIDIA shares actually down, giving back a portion of those gains. We're going to be off by about $1.50 on the open. You jump over to Microsoft shares right now. We'll call it flat right now. We jump around to some of the other Magnificent Seven. Amazon shares slightly in the green to 228. You jump over to Tesla shares. Quite a volatile ride yesterday. You're going to be up by $5 in the pre-market for Tesla shares. Key view with the volatility around. Come on, jump around. Kenview, excuse me. I know I was saying key view. So you get the press conference last night. We're at 1810. You're almost back to where you were on Friday. Now, really, where the volatility began, though, of course, is this all started around $21. So we'll see how that plays out. Check around some of the banks. You get JP Morgan flat this morning. Bank of America flat as well. Boeing with some news driving higher in the pre-market. We're up to 217 from 212 for Boeing. We'll come back. We'll take a look at that, folks. S&P's -1. We got the NASDAQ 100 flat. How about that? Just sitting there chopping around at 25,000 on the dot. Dow up by 48. Russell up by 4. And we're coming back, and we're going to talk some gold as well, folks. Gold up $45 to $38.20. We'll come right back, folks.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&Ps right now off by 2, NASDAQ 100 off by 4, and you got Boeing shares. Now, that's your daily. You've been trading lower, but this morning we're going to get a lift. We're trading at about 217 for Boeing. There's your action. That having to do with the potential as U.S. and China talk for a huge Boeing aircraft order. They're talking about 500 planes potentially in here. What's the number? U.S. and China, final stages of negotiations for a huge Boeing order. Yeah, there it is. Boeing has been working towards finalizing a deal with China to sell as many as 500 aircraft that would end a sales drought that stretches back to 2017. Now, what's remarkable is they already have a backlog of more than a decade. Okay, I was just pulling this up at the break. And the countries that are making these deals, it's amazing how you make these deals, right? And they're at the end of a list, and they get all this press, and Boeing gets the press, and yes, they matter, and time marches on, and yes, they matter, okay? But just pulling up one article, you have, in terms of deliveries, right? Boeing delivered a total of 45 aircraft in May, 45 aircraft in April. Airbus is dropping about 51 and 56. But the backlog is incredible. You're talking about a backlog of, I believe, almost 6,500 planes. And you're talking about a backlog of almost 11 and a half years. And so you get to come in, make these orders, right? And by the time they come due, things can change. Nonetheless, Boeing shares, let's take a look at technically. On a weekly basis, you know, this volume back in June, you had some real selling here. Volume off the top. Just looking at this at the break, right? You have June 9th. You have a high out there at 218.80. You break above that July 7th. You do it on lighter volume. There's a lot of selling pressure coming right now. This bid of, 2.5% to the upside on this order, it's pretty remarkable how far you have to go into the future for some of these orders of when they're actually going to come due. When you're talking about a backlog, depending on which articles are popping up here in terms of which quarter in the last year, Boeing is almost 6,000 planes. They're making 600, 700 a year. That's what it is. Let's see, they have almost 5,000 MAX aircraft alone Boeing has in the backlog. Take a look at the monthly on this thing. Monthly volume just keeps going down since April. Looks a lot more attractive at 128 than it does as it looks to be potentially rolling over. Look at all this negative volume on the way down. Market's been flying higher. Boeing's under pressure right now. That's what the charts are saying, even with the lift today. It is pretty remarkable when you have investments of $100 billion for NVIDIA, which is almost like chump change, right? They invest $100 billion, the stock goes up $250 billion. I had to reset myself. I said, it was like just before COVID that we had never had a $1 trillion company, right? 2018, folks, it was $900 billion, right? Apple, first $1 trillion company. And that is around August of 2018. Okay, so here we are 7 years later, and NVIDIA is now pushing almost $5 trillion, and they're able to invest $100 billion and make $250 billion in a moment. And this is not a short-term problem, right? As Bain is talking about 2030, who knows where it's going to be in 2030, but the revenue is going to have to come from somewhere. OpenAI is going to lose a lot of money for a long time. So it's not an issue of set it and forget it, right? You think about NVIDIA is investing in OpenAI, who's buying NVIDIA chips. You're backing off slightly from that number. We'll jump around to some of the other chip stocks right now. You get AMD. Trading up in the pre-market slightly. You jump over to Oracle shares. Quite the acceleration as well. So you get NVIDIA invests in OpenAI. OpenAI makes a deal with Oracle. Oracle buys NVIDIA chips. NVIDIA invests. I know, but and it's a great relationship as long as revenue from outside of those companies starts entering. Okay, I heard one analyst on Bloomberg earlier this morning talking about, if this was such an easy investment, why wasn't it coming from partners outside of basically the circle? He didn't use that word, right? But that's, I like that word because it is. As in, if there was an easy path to cashing in on that investment, to having that investment start to produce profits or even revenue to the degree that matches the investment, there would be more outside capital outside of NVIDIA investing in OpenAI when he's talking about $100 billion. I don't think a lot of people outside of, we have a lot of great investors that watch this channel on YouTube that are in the Tiger's Den, of course. But I think if you spoke to people that were in the market, aware of the AI run, but not really aware of these types of relationships and how often now all these companies are just investing. And that's why you saw the run yesterday in Oracle. You had a run yesterday in Oracle, and you're talking about TikTok in here as well, okay? But that was the volatility on the news. You were already higher, and you continued higher, and they are a player in that same arena. And you have one of the big deals out there of their recent earnings acceleration. So imagine, it goes completely full circle, right? When Oracle goes from 237 to 328, part of the reason they're doing that is because they signed a deal with OpenAI. And everybody was saying, man, where is OpenAI going to get all this money? They're signing these deals for computing power, and they don't have the revenue or funding yet. Well, now they do. And one of the big risks was that if Oracle's signing business deals with OpenAI, and Oracle's supposed to be buying NVIDIA chips, then what if OpenAI doesn't have the funding to build out and pay Oracle, who's then going to need to buy the NVIDIA chips? Well, now they will, because NVIDIA is providing that money that's going to come back.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We get the markets open. S&P is just off by 3. NASDAQ 100 off by 10. You get the Dow in positive territory by 85 points, or 0.2%, and the Russell positive by 0.3%, up 7 points at 24.88. We check in on gold. $40 to $38.15 right now. You jump over to the daily. Now, you know, what's remarkable here, folks, okay, is that so many of these equities in the gold report and in the gold market in general, massive volume on the close of Friday. Okay, you pull up a stock like Harmony, for instance. Now, Friday was option expiration. Harmony, volume on the close, did almost 16 million shares. 16 million shares. Now, I emphasize that because here's your daily, folks. We've never done 16 million shares. Only once on this daily going back. Let me see. I can stretch it back 2 years even. Yeah, there's only a couple days when we had even the dailies go above 16 million. And that's what we just did on the close of option expiration on Friday. So there is something going on at these lofty levels right now. Okay, and that is across the board. I'm just cherry picking no matter what equity you pull up here. Okay. It was across the board in these equities in terms of volume on the close, option expiration coming in. Harmony does 5.4 million shares on the close on Friday. And as you can see, 5.4 million shares for Harmony is one of the biggest volume days you'll see going back a year. 2 years. 5.4 million, I just said on the close, folks. Okay? There's massive, massive volume at these highs. Now, yesterday, you look where we were on Friday, which is this day here. You accelerate higher, you have the volume. There was some huge volume yesterday in this move, but there was some weakness in the equities, even as gold plows higher. Okay, as in Harmony right now, you're basically trading at the highs of Friday. Meanwhile, gold is $100 higher. So be careful in this gold market, folks. And yeah, you can miss a few trades on this run. Maybe you get stopped out. There's going to be more opportunities. You know, the Fed, the volatility around rates, the dollar, what's going on with tariffs, there is going to be volatility and pullbacks in this market, in the gold market. We haven't seen any yet. We may not just yet. Dollar right now, no huge reaction. Gold getting quite an extension here. But the equities not participating, dollar not reacting in the same way. And when you do look at this gold contract, how's that for touching the 1 to 1.618, almost to the dot, folks? Okay, and that acceleration dates back to where the move really began last February at about, let's see what the low is, about 2,000, right? 1996 I have on my charts from about February 12th. But if you really look at it, it was actually later in the, let's just zoom in on when that run began. Yeah. It was late in the month. That was your, I mean, this is where it began, but that's where it really took off. Right there. When you were trading at about 2036, you kicked in with volume the final week of February, February 29th. And what's remarkable is here we are at the exact 1 to 1.618 expansion. And it's been a fast break from the 1 to 1.618, and the volume's been there on this move. It's weakened up a bit as you get off of this high. Okay, February 17th, take a look at the gold contract. You make it to a high of 37.44. You trade lower on 251,000 contracts. The move above that yesterday, 214,000 contracts. Take a look at new gold. Volume last week, 105 million. You take a look at the daily. Friday, you did 41 million. And again, what's remarkable is 22 million of that was on the close on Friday. Now, 22 million on the close on Friday. But man, that was a nice extension on volume. Even yesterday. Because a lot of equities, you didn't even come close to comparing to the volume you did on Friday with the volume on the close. We jump over to silver. Yeah, silver might be heading right for $50, folks. Look at the volume, okay? The volume last week, 331,000 contracts. It's the most weekly volume we've had since the beginning of July. It's a big number. Check out some of the silver stocks. First Majestic up another 3.2%. Look at this extension going on. Now, First Majestic, if you're out there, $14 is the next stop. One thing that's a little dicey is all the volume you got out there from June. This is a monthly. You're going to have some big volume this month, though. Okay, what do we have left? I think 5 trading days. Yeah, 5 more after today. 6 including today. And you've already done almost 400 million. Coming into July at 414. The other one, Hecla. Look at this run. And look at the volume. Now, Hecla, the best example of, my goodness, what is going on with the volume? Okay. You get a day of 145 million. A day. 145 million on Friday. You do 35 million yesterday. 92 million on the close on Friday. Folks, 92 million on the close on Friday. Look at this chart. This thing never trades that. We got option expiration. You can go back years. I just told 92 million on the close on Friday. There's some massive volume on Friday's highs, folks. And the fact that the equities are struggling a little bit to get above that area, it's something to pay attention to. Because that volume, man, there's something going on. All right, S&Ps right now, we're flat. We jump around to some of the different equities. Amazon, what's going on with Amazon shares down by 1.4%. They always have a million headlines. They're going to be under pressure with the H1, of course. They're closing some UK fresh stores. But that's a move, man, off by 1.5%. Let's jump around. Apple shares, you're up by a few pennies this morning to kick things off. Microsoft shares down by 0.4%. NVIDIA shares give back slightly, off by 1.6%. Oracle, all right, we get some action in terms of sell into the downside. Oracle off by 3.2% right now. AMD, all right, there you go. There's one catching a bid, up by 1.2%. Intel up by 2.5% right now. Other players, Dell off by 0.1%. Palantir, it's not stopping, up by 2.5%. Tesla shares up by 0.3% right now. We got markets chopping around, folks, and you got the gold contract up by $43 to $38.18. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
With Amazon dropping by 1.5% right now. Google shares are flat. You jump over to NVIDIA, off by 1.8% right now. AMD on the flip side of that, up by 1%. Oracle gives back some of yesterday's gains, off by 3.3% right now. You jump over to Boeing, digesting the news that they're potentially working a deal with China for potentially 500 planes. 500 planes. Now that is remarkable. But what's even more remarkable is how many planes Boeing has in their backlog. I was even going further. So yeah, when you look at the backlog that they currently have, okay, in August they were talking about $619 billion backlog with more than 5,900 planes. 5,900 planes is what they have in their backlog right now. Now, if you recall, Qatar made a big announcement back in May about $100 billion in value, 210 wide-body jets, including 130 787 Dreamliners, 30 777s, and the option of 50 more, almost $100 billion. And at that time, it was even stated that many times what happens is it takes years to play out, right? They don't have to pay for that money right now, obviously. And so when you factor that into the negotiations with China going on, and you go out as far as being 500 planes ordered when they get 6,000 planes in front of you, just important to temper those expectations, because you see headlines like we see this morning. And here's the headline. Huge in quotes, okay? U.S. Ambassador to China said, he's the ambassador to China. He's a representation of this administration. Everything is a negotiation. As the two nations look to thaw frosty ties, why would China not say, you know what, we'll buy 500 planes from you? Whenever you make it through those huge backlog, you're telling me that that's not going to be a part of the negotiation going forward? So imagine, this is now going to be one of the pawns, if it gets done, that will be a part of that negotiation for years to come, because they're not going to have to pay for those planes for years to come. Just one of the risks out there with Boeing. And listen, Boeing's a great company for the one reason that Boeing's never going away, folks. There's two companies that make planes, Boeing and Airbus. As a security nature for our country alone, the last thing we want is for Boeing to go out of business and only have Airbus in the market. So they are going to be around, and you're trading at 215, and you were as high as 140 in 2013. You were as high as 446 before they ran into multiple different issues in terms of 737 Maxes, and then, of course, the COVID shut down flying. But when you see those orders, remember their backlog and remember how many years. And when you start talking about, now you're talking about, so Qatar is going to have 210 in there. China is going to have 500 plus. The China, a lot more volatile than Qatar, I would say. But you're talking about 5 to 10 years down the line before that becomes material in any way. All right, we talk about what else we have going on in this market. We talk about movers. And we're going to have some Fed speak today. I believe you have Powell coming up. Yeah, look at Amazon continuing to drop. So check this out on the monthly on Amazon, right? We come back up. We test the highs. We test the highs that we had in July, and you're giving it up again. So you have Amazon in court for an FTC battle this week. A jury trial began on Monday and opening arguments are today. A lawsuit filed by the FTC in June of 2023 alleges that Amazon deceived tens of millions of customers into signing up for its Prime subscription program and sabotaged their attempts to cancel it. I'd be interested to follow how this one plays out. As somebody that's had Prime forever, pretty sure if I want to cancel it, I could. Regulators argue Amazon broke competition and consumer protection laws by tricking customers into subscribing. They have a button on the site that instructed users to complete their transaction and did not clearly state they were agreeing to join Prime for a recurring subscription. Well, if that's the case, yeah. So clarity adjustments would lead to a drop in subscribers. The cancellation process is equally confusing, requiring users to navigate 4 web pages and choose from 15 options. You know, this is where these tech companies have points, folks, okay? I would argue if you're signed up for Amazon Prime that you can cancel it. Now, I have a technological degree that most don't. As in just sitting in front of a computer with high-speed internet, multiple screens, and a computer awareness, yes, is something many people don't have. But we'll see how it plays out. And yes, these companies, these tech companies, they are at the value they're at because they use their advantages to their advantage, right? But Amazon down by 2% to kick things off. That is a move, man. We're only 19 minutes into the trading day, and you were getting some volume as Amazon is driving lower. Walmart down by 1% right now. Target shares up by 0.8% after trading lower to kick things off yesterday. Oracle particularly volatile recently. Speaking of, Paramount Skydance just chopping around that near that 19. We'll see if the details come out. Warner Brothers Discovery up by 0.4% right now. We jump to the streamers. Netflix down by 0.2%. Comcast catching a bit up by 1.8% right now. Look at that chart. Huh? How's that for a downtrend channel? Yeah. You know, jump over to Disney. We've managed to avoid the Jimmy Kimmel saga on this show, but he is coming back tonight. Disney shares up by 0.5% right now. Some volatility last week. Look at the volume on the close. Last week was huge, man. Options expiration. But yeah, Kimmel will be back on. And I believe I saw he's having Gavin Newsom on. I believe he's having Mr. Newsom on, which is quite a kickoff to come back. S&P's off by 1, NASDAQ 100 off by 54. Check out the Dow catching a bid up by 270. We'll check out the Dow when we come back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening Call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps right now positive by 1, and you jump back to Disney. I'm not sure if Newsom's on there. I saw that somewhere, but that's probably fake news. Couldn't find who the guest is going to be, and I don't blame him. Maybe they don't have a guest. Maybe they do. If anybody has it out there, put it out. Just wasn't sure, but hopefully that whole situation calms down. I think that would be best for all of us. Free speech in focus lately, and hopefully stays in focus. Free speech. I think we all believe in free speech. And the line is always, where's the line, right? But who gets to draw the line? If there is a line. All right, we take a look at that Dow, as I mentioned. Look at the big tech stocks, folks. Okay, now the Dow is a price-weighted index. You got UNH up 1.5%. Okay, JP Morgan's up a percentage. J&J is up 1.1. Goldman Sachs is always a big one when you're trading at $820, right? Up by 1.7%. 3M up by 2.3, and Boeing, of course, helping as well. But boy, take a look at the S&P 500. Oracle, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Apple, all in the red. Netflix, one of the biggest companies out there. Get into the chip sector, though. Everywhere else, you're doing just fine. Broadcom, Micron up by 2%. Palantir up by 3% right now. Healthcare. Check out McKesson up by 5%. NASDAQ 100 in the red, though. Rightfully so, when you have a NASDAQ 100 that looks like this. I mean, thank goodness for some of these chip stocks and Palantir, man. Everything else led by the biggest dogs out there. NVIDIA, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple all in the red. That should get you spikes up, folks. All right, folks, stay tuned. We got the S&Ps right now flat. We got the NASDAQ negative by 58. The Dow leading the way, helped by Goldman Sachs. Look at that run, up by $15. Goldman up by 1.8%. That'll do it in the Dow, and the Russell up by 0.9% as well. Folks, stay tuned. We got Basil Chapman coming up. He did his show at 8 o'clock this morning. We got our man Steve Rhodes after that. Larry this afternoon. I'll be back at 3 o'clock as well. Have a great Tuesday, everybody.